What's good, my boys? So this is going to be the revised and updated version of my initial trailer analysis for Xenoblade 3. If you watched it, then you know it wasn't the greatest, and a lot of you, and I mean a lot of you, were sure to let me know about a lot of the things that I actually messed up on and got completely wrong. So I'm just going to go back through the trailer, and I'm actually just going to go over the things I missed and correct them. So hopefully this will be a definitive trailer analysis and will be better than my last one. For the things that I got somewhat correct, I'm not really going to spend much time on. I'm going to just go over them a little bit, but we're mainly going to be focusing on the new stuff. So let's actually get into it. Alright, so right here on the flute, if you remember from my first trailer analysis, which you haven't watched already, please go watch that so you'll be able to understand this video a little bit better. But here on the flute, I said that this pattern reminds me of the Torna logo, but on Amino, the absolute legend that goes by I Like Sandwiches, go check them out on Amino, by the way. I'm gonna put their Amino in the video. But they mention how the pattern on the flute actually kind of looks like Zanza's wings. So, I mean, that makes a lot more sense than it just being the Torna logo. So maybe Zanza has some type of influence in his game, even though he's gone. There could be something to do with Zanza here. I'm not quite sure, but that's one of the bigger changes I wanted to make first, because it could be a really important story beat.
Fighting in order to live, and living to fight.
And right here, I'm looking back at it and watching other trailer analyses, I guess, and people have told me in the comments, this is actually the Kevis army, and they're predominantly, how do I say this? They're predominantly associated with this like black and blue type of weaponry throughout the game, or at least the trailer. You see those big Kevis mechs, they also have this blue type of outline. So anytime you see black and this bluish, this is Kevis.
That's the way of our world. Aionios.
This is very important. Aionios. From what I was told in the comments, Aionios is like a mix between Aion and Bionis or Mechanis, and that actually makes a lot of sense. And from what they told me, Aionios actually means land of Aion. So perhaps this could be like an actual mix of both worlds. Xenoblade 1 universe and 2 universe, like combined, merged into one. I'm not sure. I have a little theory that this Aionios could actually be on the planet Mira, but I might make a separate video about that if y'all are interested in it. But it's very important to know that Aionios means the land of Aion, and the name itself is like a conversion or merging of Aion and Bionis or Mechanis.
me!
Okay, and in my initial trailer analysis, I did say that this looks like a mix between the Monado and an Aegis sword. Obviously, it's not the actual Monado, considering the Monado is gone now, since Zanza is gone. So, obviously, it'd resemble one of the replica Monados. Just take after the look of the Monado and not the actual Monado itself. Because the actual Monado is gone now, so it'd be impossible for this to be the actual Monado.
What would possess you to side?
Here. And before I said I didn't really know where Mio was from, but Mio is most definitely Agnes, as you can see by her white clothes, and she is a flesh eater. You can see by her miscolored core crystal. Mio and Noah are both officers, and actually I'll get into that a little bit later. Another scene.
With them.
We're fighting because there are enemies to kill.
I refuse to believe you're him.
Okay, so this scene actually has a lot of information. We see Lance coming in saying, "I refuse to believe you're him," and protecting Noah. So, and as we can see here, Lance can change from like offense stance to defensive stance. He has his big sword and he can use it as a shield. So maybe that's hinting that the new combat system is different. Instead of blade switching, we'll have stance switching, because Lance here can go from offense to defense, go attacking and then shielding. And later on, we see that Iuni, her staff, can go from like staff mode and rifle mode, use it to heal, but she can also like shoot with it. So we might have a new combat system where it's stance changing instead of blade switching. And just the overall trailer, it doesn't seem the blades would play too much of an importance, at least for combat. Also, another thing I wanted to note, Land could be Machina, or at least somehow of Machina descent, because he has gray skin and red eyes. Go back. He has gray skin right here, and he has this weird marking on his chin. I don't know if you can. Actually, I have the official Nintendo website, Japanese site. Go down right here. You can see Lance. He has red eyes, and as far as I remember, only the Machina had red eyes, and gray skin. So he could be a descendant, somehow related to the Machina. That was a very interesting point to actually make. But recently, in my last video, I said how the line, "I refuse to believe you're him," could be that Noah mistaken for some kind of antagonist. Someone in the comments actually said that basically Noah's reputation trying to be blemished, and Mio is fighting Noah because of the things that she heard that he did, and then Lance comes in and protects him because he refuses to believe that Noah did all of those things that he heard about. So he refuses to believe he's him, the one who committed some type of atrocity.
You're him.
I knew it. I saw this.
Okay, here, I don't know how I fucked up this bad, but first of all, her name is Sena, or Sena, whichever, I don't really know how it's pronounced, but I'm gonna go by Sena for now. But, however, yes, she could possibly be a blade because of these lines here, and she has a shield hammer. However, she is not an offspring blade. Blades in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it is specifically stated that blades cannot reproduce. So there is no way that Sena is offspring of a human and blade breeding. That is strictly forbidden, cannot happen. However, looking back on it, and as a lot of you said, Sena actually reminds them a lot of Bridget. And looking at it, she kind of does, because the blue, like the light blue fiery hair, looks a lot like, and it reminds me a lot of Bridget. So maybe this is really out there, but my personal headcanon is that she's somehow related to Bridget, and maybe Bridget finally decided to become flesh eater, Morag, and Bridget is somehow in this game, and we get to meet her, and then Sena and Bridget meet up after being split apart somehow, and they're somehow related. Again, that most likely isn't true, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it.
This coming.
But yes, blades cannot reproduce whatsoever. And here, I've actually had a comment telling me that even though this looks a lot like Van Damme, and the voice actually matches up almost perfectly, a lot of people thought it was Zeke because of the eye patch, and it's the overall like grayish color. Someone else mentioned that this could actually be an older Rex. An older Rex mourning the death of Zeke and Van Damme. So, although that could be possible, I don't believe it 100%. It's definitely an idea, and it would be really nice to see if this was an older, more experienced Rex, but for now we just don't know.
You're not enemies. Now.
Okay, here, at first I said I didn't really know this was. But now, looking back, and again, for y'all in the comment, thank y'all so much for everything y'all said in the comments. It means the world to me. Y'all are goats. But this could possibly be Shulk or Fiora descendant. Could somehow be related to Shulk or Fiora, maybe even direct kid by them, or somewhere down the line, because they have the long blonde hair and somewhat of the facial structure. As you can see on their hand, there's this kind of mark or emblem, and a couple of characters have these, but I'm gonna explain that at the end, as it could be very, very important to the story.
Time for you, isn't it? All that time.
Okay, here we can see Noah and Mio. Back. Okay, so this person seems to be from Kevis, since they are wearing predominantly black, and they also have a flute, which I'll get to in a second.
Fine for you, isn't it? All that.
But here we see Noah and Mio both playing their flutes, with Mio being from Agnes and Noah being from Kevis. Since Noah and Mio are offseers, that could be the reason why they have flutes, and only offseers have flutes. And offseers obviously play a very important role in the story. So maybe this person right here, the Shulk or Fiora relative, they could also be an offseer from Kevis, and they could play a big role in the story. So not quite sure, but it seems like this person and then Noah and Mio are the only ones who can play flutes. So that's something to definitely keep in mind.
Time you've got.
And right here, I want you to listen to the voice. Listen very closely to this voice.
You could try to move forwards again.
So, a couple of people in the comments have mentioned, and I don't know how I didn't even figure this out, but it sounds very, very similar to Rex. He says you can try to move forward. Sounds a lot like Rex.
Isn't it? All that time you've got.
You could try to move forwards again.
And that could be Rex actually speaking to Nia, telling her you can try to move forward again, because Nia could be mourning the death of her friends, considering the whole theme of Xenoblade 3 is life. And Nia is able to outlive the entirety of the Xenoblade 3 cast, except for maybe Zeke and Rex, I guess. I'm not quite sure on Rex, but this could be Rex talking to Nia, telling her that, I mean, your friends are gone, and I feel you for that, but you can try to move forward again. Nia could be mourning the death of her friends, and Rex is trying to help her get over that and move forward.
How can our lives be so snuffing little do you?
In here, we can actually see this is Aioni. I'm still not quite sure if it is, but she is also Kevis. You can see she's wearing black with the blue accents on her staff and her shirt or her clothes. So she is definitely also from Kevis.
Snuffing little do you?
They're not your friends anymore.
And of course, if you remember, Taion is from Agnes because the white, and he has these small autonomous weapons. He could be using ether to power these weapons to make them like fly and attack and all that. So remember that Agnes is very proficient in ether. So ether could explain why he's able to control these so well.
His fuel.
And if you heard right there, he said, heard Taion, he said, they're not your friends anymore, they're just his fuel. I have some speculation on the he part, because there's a very big emphasis on it earlier in the game. In the trailer, we heard Lance say, I refuse to believe you're him. And now we hear Taion saying, you're just his fuel. I will get to that in the end, I promise, because that's a really big point that I want to talk about and I'm interested in. But for now, let's keep going.
They're not your friends anymore. They're his fuel.
And right here, although I said this does remind me of Bionis Leg, which it does, it kind of looks like a mix of Bionis Leg and Mira. I'm going to bring Mira up quite a few times in this video, and I have a lot of dumb theories about Xenoblade 3, and I might go and make separate videos on these theories and speculation. Again, they're going to be really out there and just mostly dumb, but I think that would be fun to talk about and at least mention, even if they could be completely wrong. It'd just be fun to make these theory videos and interact with y'all and see what y'all think about them. But this looks like a mix between Mira and Bionis Leg. If you look right up here, this looks like actually Link-A-Lot, who also made another trailer analysis. So you should go check him out. I'll link him down in the description. Go check out his analysis because his is way more organized than mine. But he noticed that over here you can see this cliff. Looks like one of those cliff arches on the Bionis Leg in Gower Plain. So this could actually be some type of other area on Bionis Leg. And it just has the overall feel with these giant rock walls and then these overarching cliffs. So this could be Bionis Leg, just a new area on it.
Sword March.
Right here, this could be the fallen arm, considering we see the greenish vegetation, which was also present in Fallen Arm in Xenoblade 1, but we also see this Mechanis type architecture here from the Fallen Arm. And this could be the area on the finger, or the platform way up on top of the finger that overlooks the whole of Fallen Arm. This could be it. And you can see Araya right here. So considering the proximity of the Great Mechanis Sword and the Araya Titan, this could actually be Fallen Arm that's laying next to the Mechanis Sword somewhere. This could be a Fallen Arm, and this is definitely Uriah.
The land pierced by...
Right here, previously I said this is the top of Uriah, but if you see later on in the title card, Uriah, the top of Uriah is pretty much filled with snow. From what it looks like snow. It could just be clouds or a refraction of light, but it most definitely looks like it's snow. Here, a commenter pointed out that these look like fins from Gormott. So this could be Gormott, and Gormott could be making a return, considering there's live grassy vegetation. So if Gormott was dead, or Uriah is dead, there shouldn't really be any way for life to grow on it, like any plant life to grow on it. Maybe the plant life could be feeding off the nutrients of whatever Uriah has left, but it'd make more sense for this to be a different Titan. This could be Gormott from these fin-like structures right here.
Great sword.
Then this could be the Fallen Arm. You remember back
March.
right here, we can see a bit of a desert area. And looking at it, we could actually, in the scene where we see Mio running down that desert area, it could be right here. And this could be the top of the finger that I mentioned. So we could see Mio running right here.
The land pierced by a great sword.
And up here is where Noah could have been running. Could be the little desert area of the Fallen Arm. And this could have been where Noah is. I would explain the Mechanis type architecture. So there's a lot of areas that look like Fallen Arm. So the Fallen Arm could actually still be here. Even though the Mechanis was destroyed, I don't think the Fallen Arm really moved anywhere once Zanza destroyed Mechanis. Okay, and at this part, I noted that Monolith seems to have a lot more. We're able to design world a lot more, make it more detailed and a lot bigger. And I said that could be because of the OLED switch, which I was dubious about anyway. But as a confirmation, a commenter told me that Switch OLED has no hardware differences at all. Same hardware as the launch Switch. So that has nothing to do with why the world so much more alive and detailed than Xenoblade 2's. I have a list of all these things I wanted to go over that I got wrong in the initial trailer. So if I'm taking a little bit to say something on those long pauses, I'm looking at my list and trying to articulate it the best way I can.
It's the only way you're gonna defeat the real enemy.
And all of that, really anything I wanted to change there, so that's good. But here, commenter said that this actually looks like Junks from Xenoblade 1, and looking at it, I don't know how I was so dumb to think this was a skill when it looks almost damn near exactly like Junks. So this could just be Junks instead of a skill. Although it would be nice if these skills return, this is most likely just Junks.
Whatever life is lost, I won't let you soldier it all alone.
What good filling up these flickering clocks in our eyes?
These Nopon are important actually.
These flickering clocks in our
Okay, so on the back of this Nopon, it looks like he could have some kind of replica Aegis sword. Looking like this is the handle, and this is some kind of guard for it. I'm not quite sure what this is, but this Nopon obviously representing Rex in a big way. He's got a jacket like Rex did. He's got the little belt, the hair most definitely. So I don't know how it relates to Rex, but Rex and this Nopon are somehow connected. And this Nopon is from Kevis, and this Nopon is from Agnes. And we can see them interacting with each other. But if you remember, Kevis and Agnes are at war with each other. So maybe there are Nopon that belong to both races, and the Nopon get along just fine, but all the other races are at war with each other. Because Nopon are pretty carefree creatures. They don't really have any struggles in terms of like humans would. They just go around living life. And I mentioned that this Nopon could be related to Ricky because of her color and her hair. But if you look back here, she looks to be having some kind of shield. She looks to have Poppy's shield from Xenoblade 2. And she has a hat like Poppy. So this Nopon would be related to Tora in some way, and that would integrate Tora into the game. I'm not quite sure, but this Nopon could be related to Tora, and this Nopon has something to do with Rex in some way.
eyes. It will never replace the friends we've lost.
The flame clock, it has to go.
And I think in my previous trailer analysis,
Ouroboros.
The flame clock, it has filling up these flickering clocks in our eyes. It will never replace the friends we've lost.
The flame clock, it has.
I said that Miu could actually be Nia, like in disguise. This could be an undercover Nia going by a different alias of Mio. But if you see, Mio doesn't have the face tattoos that Nia does, so this is most likely not Leah, even though she has the core crystal. She could just be some different Gormati flesh eater, could just somehow be related to Nia, which is very possible. Considering she also wields the twin rings, which was Nia's signature weapon.
Has to go.
Ouroboros.
Yes, okay. This one got the most attention. A lot of you were sure to let me know that there's no way in hell, Tyrea. I realize, okay, this is Melia, this is not Tyrea. So many of you got on me about saying that this is Tyrea. First of all, the swirly hair, I don't think Tyrea had that, and it's just Tania. And her wing size, this is the thing that people pointed out. Only half-breeds have shorter wings, like Tilin and Melia. And Melia was the Empress of Alchemoth, and if this is Melia, then she is the ruler of Kevis, since she was already royalty before. There's no reason why she wouldn't be now. And Melia from the Hyantia we saw in Xenoblade 1, she's the only one with short wings. The only half-breeds of Homs and Hyantia have the short wings. Tyrea's wings down here somewhere, they'd be way longer. Although it could be Tyrea with her wings clipped. But this is Melia. And if you listen, you could actually kind of hear Jenna Coleman in here, the voice of Melia.
Ouroboros abhor this world.
That sounds a lot like Melia. So that is almost no doubt Melia and not Tyrea. Okay, I understand. It's not Tyrea. I know. I'm going to get memed on that so hard. But yes, that is Melia and not Tyrea. And again, here's
They
Melia.
must be erased without.
Nia. I'm about to call Nia Melia, and y'all gonna get on me for that. But also, another thing someone noticed is that Melia is the ruler of Kevis, wearing all black, and then Nia is the ruler of Agnes. And Kevis could represent Xenoblade Chronicles 1, because there are Nopon, Aionios, and Homs. If Noah is a Homs, those Xenoblade 1 races are a part of Kevis. And then for Agnes, we can see Gormati, Nopon, Blades with Sena, if she is a Blade. So all the Xenoblade 2 races, as well as Nopon, all the Xenoblade 2 races are from Agnes, and all the Xeno 1 races are from Kevis. So Kevis could represent Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Agnes represents Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That was a really cool point that I never even realized that I wanted to point out, because that could be very important to the story.
Trace.
Alright, and this kind of harkens back to what I said before, that maybe the Mechanis had struck Araya with the sword, but that wouldn't really be possible considering that Zanza destroyed Mechanis in his fight with Mechanis in Xenoblade 1. So maybe something the size of Mechanis actually took the sword and struck Uriah. That could be anything. We haven't really seen anything like to the scale of Bionis and Mechanis. We haven't seen anything to that size. So it could be some kind of entity in the game that we haven't seen yet could have struck Raya. And before I get to a little speculation, I want to mention something very important here. Right here, this little emblem or insignia on the 3. Someone in the comments mentioned that some of the characters have this insignia on the back of their hand. If you remember, like here, this person, they seem to have a mark on their hand. It looks a little different. That just could be from the angle. But they said a couple of characters have this mark on the back of their hand. And I've only seen this character with the mark. I may have missed the others. But there could be some connection with this mark in the flutes or overseers, because this person's playing a flute, so they could be an overseer. And then the only other characters we see with flutes are Noah and Mio. They could also have the mark and see it at the time. So maybe this emblem has something to do with overseers. But one of my headcanons or speculation I have is that this actually represents some type of higher third power or some third stronger nation, because in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, you remember the higher power or nation, say Indol, Malthus in the Land Praetorium, overseers of all rest, they're like the international police. So maybe we could have something like that here in Aionios, and there's some third nation along with Kevis, Agnes. And there's a lot of speculation I want to go over right now, but I'm going to save that for later videos because I have quite a bit of ideas. Now, pretty much all of them sound really dumb and make no sense, but I just want to share those with you. And hell, maybe even some of them may actually be true, despite how dumb they sound, because Takahashi, no stranger to going all out on this work. It seems like Takahashi is actually finally able to make this giant overarching Xeno game that he's been dreaming of for years, maybe even decades. So who knows, this could be like the big Xeno game that encompasses all of Xeno. This could be episode 6 of Xenogears. We don't know, or if Perfect works, but I'm going to save speculation for later videos. But I would like to know your feedback on this updated version of the trailer. Also, if you would like to see speculation videos, make those. But as far as I know, I covered pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. Again, since there's so much information in this trailer, there's a lot I could have missed. And that's very possible and probably the case, considering me. But I feel like I went over and corrected a lot of my mistakes from the last one. But if you haven't watched the last one, please go do so. I'll link that in the description. Also go check out I Like Sandwiches and Think a Lot. But with that, that's about all I have for right now. I come back in the description or the comments and go back over a couple things that I missed. But for right now, that's it. This game, I can't wait for it. I'm so excited for this. I'm going to make so much Xenoblade 3 content when that comes out. And I'm going to continue making the content that I am now. Continue this Bringer of Chaos playthrough. And then might do a Xenosaga playthrough. Xenoblade X playthrough. I'm going to be doing some kind of Xeno content up until Xenoblade 3 comes out, and then I'm going to focus on that mainly. But if you enjoyed the video, I hope you stick around. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have a damn good day. Stay safe, be well, play some Xenoblade.